Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're speaking everything that's related to Zimbabwe and obviously the trials and tribulations that are being faced by both Zimbabweans and South Africans as we try to actually navigate through this foreign immigrant crisis that is currently being faced by South Africa as these immigrants, both legal and illegal, are coming into South Africa. So there has been actually a video that's been doing the rounds on social media, and this video is of a person that was obviously trying to cross into South Africa illegally via the Limpopo River, which separates Zimbabwe and also South Africa. And as you will be able to see in that video, the person is seen to be fighting from his life, either because he can't swim or because he's being attacked, obviously, by an animal in the water. In the river, actually, because that river is actually quite crowded with crocodiles and other creatures that can be found in that river. And that actually sparks a debate because that is happening due to Zimbabweans being denied access into South Africa after Aaron Motsoaledi has taken the decision not to renew ZEP, which are Zimbabwe exemption permits in South Africa. So before I go any further, this is the video of the person either drowning or being attacked by a wild animal. Watch, and I will be back with the rest of my
Limpopo River. Which family they must stay away from mates. Trailer more trailer. Trailer le wanang around the mola. The moats. The moats. Sorrow jerry mates. Sky chance. Sky chance one.
As you can see from that video, ladies and gentlemen, the man or woman in the video is obviously losing their life as they tried to enter South Africa illegally. And unfortunately, this is a fate for some Zimbabweans as they try to enter South Africa illegally and not via the legal channels. Obviously, if you're going to cross a river that is crowded with crocodiles and other creatures, then you're gambling in essence with your life. And when people try to actually put to light the issues that come with illegal immigrants in South Africa, obviously South Africans are always dubbed or always called as xenophobic because of such matters that happen, such as these, right? Because when South Africans try to speak out, it's almost as if we can't say too much when it comes to foreign nationals, because whenever we do, by our African brothers and also by the international community, we're always being dubbed as xenophobic and being said that we're not in support of the plight of our African brothers and sisters. But I think that's far from the truth. I don't think that most South Africans have a problem, or even the South African government has a problem with illegal immigrants, or with immigrants entering the country legally. What I think the problem is with illegal immigrants, because those people cannot be regulated. They cannot be regulated, especially in the economic sector and in the economic market in the country, meaning that those people might not be able to pay taxes. Those people might be actually working for a fee or an amount that is below the regulated amount in South Africa, the minimum rate of employment in South Africa, and those people might also not be contributing positively to the economic status of South Africa. And those are the concerns I believe that South Africans have been trying to actually bring to light to all the previous ministers, especially ministers of Home Affairs, until obviously Aaron Motsoaledi took over that. The problem that we're having with illegal immigrants is that they're not regulated and therefore do not contribute positively towards the economy and other sectors of the South African or South Africa as a whole, rather. And obviously with that, it comes the over-dependence on service industries that are already being, very, very crowded at the moment. Because currently, our government is not able to adequately, and I'm not saying this is a result of foreign nationals, but currently government is not able to actually regulate how much people need service delivery, and they're also actually not able to provide proper access to service delivery. And that is as a result of, obviously, incompetence from the government side. But also we cannot deny that the government is now being faced with immense pressure because they are having an increased number of immigrants, and our population is obviously rapidly growing because of the illegal immigrants. So as a result of that, and all of these factors that I've actually placed or said in this video, Aaron Motsoaledi, who is my personal hero, he is my personal hero, Aaron Motsoaledi decided not to renew the Zimbabwean exemption permits. And then also, while he went to the Beit Bridge border post, so the Beit Bridge, excuse me, border post is especially relevant to Zimbabweans, because most of the time when Zimbabweans want to get into South Africa, they do use the Beit Bridge border post. Okay, so that border post is the border post that connects South Africa to Zimbabwe, or rather, draws a line rather between South Africa and Zimbabwe. So our Minister of Home Affairs, Aaron Matsoaledi, went there after the videos were doing the rounds on social media of all of those Zimbabweans trying to enter South Africa again. I'm assuming that they had gone home. Imagine, they had gone home for Christmas and now they try to come back and get into South Africa. And obviously they were stopped at the border post because South African officials are now trying to hone down on corruption, especially at Beit Bridge, because there was a lot of corruption. People were buying permits at the border post, I believe. And obviously officials were being bought off. Like, let's not act like that wasn't happening. That clearly was happening. So Aaron Matsoaledi decided to go to the border post, and he actually issued a statement, I believe it was yesterday, to say that 700 people were arrested trying to enter the country illegally. 700 people were arrested trying to enter the country illegally, and also that he had found no traces of corruption at the Beit Bridge border post office, or where the official South African officials are actually working, and that the people who were previously the ones who were instigating corruption at the border post were either facing disciplinary measures or something along those lines. But my point is that there were 700 people who were arrested in one day for trying to enter South Africa illegally. Wow, hey? Like, that's a lot. That is a whole lot. It makes you sort of wonder how many illegal immigrants are in South Africa. Obviously we'll never know because they're undocumented, as I've said, and they cannot be accounted for, but it really does make you wonder. And you must know, as I've stated, with illegal immigrants, they don't contribute towards taxes. They work below minimum wage, is the word that I was searching for earlier. They work below the minimum wage. They accept any kind of employment that they are given. And obviously, if they work below minimum wage, they accept any dime or penny that they are given. And that is a problem specifically and especially to South Africans, because most South Africans will not work for below the minimum wage because, number one, it is legally regulated that we do not. It's against the law for any employer to offer any South African, or anyone for that matter, any payment that is below the minimum wage, right? So if we're having a situation where Zimbabweans are now working below the minimum wage, it means that the very crooked employees, or the ones that are prone to corruption, will actually opt not to hire South Africans, but will actually opt to hire Zimbabweans instead. Because obviously if you can get something for cheap labor, why not, right? Especially if you're a messed up individual and you're messed up in the head and you're corrupt as it is, you will do that, right? So that has that negative effect on us, that if there's 700 people who are trying to enter South Africa on average in a day illegally, then how many people are A, already in the country, and how many people are B, still trying to enter South Africa illegally? And what effect does that have on the economic status of South Africans and South Africa as a whole, as a country? Right? Secondly, what this means is that, and as I've also previously mentioned, service delivery is going to be previously impacted. Already South Africa is not a shining bright light star, whatever you choose to call it, when it comes to service delivery. So if we've got all of these people, all of them, that are going to be using service delivery, some of them are going to be getting fake IDs at some point, Some of them are going to make babies and get citizenship. I don't know. I don't know how things happen. I don't know how these things happen. But point is, they're going to actually place a burden on service delivery in South Africa. And service delivery in South Africa is already in shambles. Electricity in South Africa is already non-existent. So what happens in informal settlements, and this happens as a result of South Africans as well, it's not like exclusive to Zimbabweans only, is that usually when people live in informal settlements and they live in shacks, what happens is that most of the time, obviously, they can't get from the municipality an electricity connection, a legal electricity connection, right? And that's where Izinyoga. I'm sure everyone in South Africa knows. We all saw that advert. Yes, Izinyoga. That's where Izinyoga comes in, and that's where people now try to gain access to electricity, and they obviously try to do that illegally, some dying in the process, right? So if they're all of these illegal immigrants, obviously they're not going to want to live without electricity. So they're going to do those processes or benefit from those connections, and in essence they're going to actually kill us in the process. Not kill us, but they like kill our pockets, I mean, because obviously we've got all of these various people in the country, South Africans and not South Africans as well, foreigners, for lack of a better word, who are actually using South African supplies in terms of, electricity, right? Because most of the people in informal settlements who do not have a legal wiring of electrical connection do not pay for electricity. Newsflash, in case you didn't know. So that's why we have so many electrical problems. Also because Eskom basically is a bunch of incompetent I don't know what to call them. They're just incompetent. So that's also another reason why. But basically, it's just sad to see that whenever South Africans speak out, we are being dubbed as xenophobic. It's almost as if they don't want to see the reasons why we don't agree with most of or we're not accommodating with most foreigners in South Africa. Let's not even speak about crime, because just a few weeks ago we recently discovered that there was a Zimbabwean serial killer, and I'm only speaking about Zimbabweans alone. I'll come for Nigerians in another video. I'll come and speak about what Nigerians do. We all know in terms of drugs, human trafficking and all of that. We all know it. Yes, South Africans do it too, but if you're a visitor in someone's country, you should not be partaking in criminal or illegal activities, right? So the point is not that South Africans are doing it too. It's that if you are in a foreign country or in a country that's not yours, you're in essence a visitor, right? How much more if you're an illegal visitor and you're going to be selling drugs and trafficking women and raping women and abusing pussy and just being a vile human being, right? So these are the problems that we're facing as South Africans, and whenever we try to speak out against them, we're always being dubbed as xenophobic. But what people fail to understand is that we're not actually putting much emphasis on the governments that these people, our African brothers and sisters, are running away from, right? Who's ever talking about ZANU-PF? Who is ever dragging ZANU-PF through the mud? Whenever I hear anybody talk about anything when it comes to illegal immigrants, it's always in relation to South Africa and South African government not being accommodating, but they forget that the people that messed up back home were their governments. They forget the reason they needed to flee in the first place were their governments. So it makes absolutely no sense for foreign nationals to come into South Africa and to point fingers at our government and to say, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, you're not doing that, when they can't do that or extend that same type of criticism to their governments. So how about Zimbabweans as a whole, illegal or not, try to hone in together and try to fight the oppressive regimes and the oppressive governments. They watched Mugabe did what Mugabe did to them until Mugabe died. He never faced justice. Mugabe died and he was never brought to justice by Zimbabweans. Is the same going to happen with ZANU-PF or the new president under ZANU-PF? I think that we need to stop being too critical of South Africans who are choosing to speak out when it comes to matters of illegal immigrants. We have a right, a constitutional right to freedom of speech and to voice our opinions and to state if there's something that we do not like or do like, something that makes us happy or unhappy in the current state in our country. And the real people or the real criticism needs to be directed at the governments back home. Tell me what you think in the comment section. I had a lovely time chatting with you. It was a very long video, and I will see you in our next video. Goodbye, lovelies.